What's going on, everybody? I am Maneli Jamal here from Toronto, Canada. You probably already know that, though. That's probably why you're watching. So that song there was a new song that I am still working on, still in the middle of working on. Thought I'd play it today for you guys here on a different guitar than maybe you're used to seeing. So you're probably used to seeing me on a normal guitar. This guitar here is actually a baritone guitar, very deep, low. So I decided to play it today just because I haven't touched it in so long, and you would not believe the amount of dog hair that was covered all over the case. So, but I'm glad I kind of gave this a little bit of a comeback. It's a Baton Rouge guitar from Germany. They were very kind enough to send me this guitar to test out and to do my thing with it. So yeah, so welcome everybody, welcome. Many of you probably got a message from me at some point or have seen the whole thing about us writing a song together today, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to do it, maybe kind of mix it up between me starting to write a song, and then maybe halfway through I might play a song that you guys want to hear, that you guys maybe want me to play, just to take a break from the writing session. I'll keep entertaining you. So it's very casual here, very casual, but so just so you know, you guys are signing up for the writing credits here. So everyone here can contribute whatever you want as far as opinions, direction, and what we're going to do. This is my first time actually doing something like this, so I'm very curious to see how this will work with everybody. Now, first things first, can everybody hear me okay? Is the volume level okay? I can speak a little bit louder, but I just want to make sure that everyone's able to hear me clearly and to hear the guitar clearly, because otherwise we can't work with this if you guys can't hear everything. It's all good? Beautiful. Very nice. Cool. So first thing, we're going to vote. We're going to vote on several different things here. First things first, we're going to vote on the guitar. I have 3 guitars here. I have the baritone, I have the Taylor guitar, and I have the Cole Clark guitar. So I want you right now to write in the comments what you want. Do you want the baritone, the Taylor guitar, or the Cole Clark guitar? I'll give you guys 10 seconds. Holy, lots of Taylor guitars here, okay. Now just so you know, I am doing a Facebook here at the top and YouTube on the bottom. So feel free to contribute if you guys are watching on Facebook. So Taylor, okay, a lot of Taylor, some baritone. Well, it looks like so far we got another 5 seconds before I decide here. Okay. Now, a lot of you have probably already heard my music, so you know the guitars. You kind of hopefully have an idea of what guitar sounds the best for you guys. Okay, so it seems like it's a very clear winner as far as what the guitar is going to be. It's going to be the Taylor guitar. So that'll be the first thing that we're going to do. So goodbye, baritone from Baton Rouge, a beautiful guitar, but we're going to switch to the Taylor guitar now. Okay. See, that wasn't so bad, right? This is good. I feel like we're really starting to understand each other here. So this is my Taylor guitar. This is a beautiful 814 CE limited edition. This is a Madagascar rosewood back inside. Look at this beauty here. You can maybe even see yourself in the reflection. It's a very beautiful guitar. Very beautiful guitar. So we're going to start with this. We're going to start with the this beautiful Taylor. I will say it's so weird coming from the baritone and then coming over to the Taylor. It's just such a strange, it feels like I'm playing a toy guitar, really. It's a strange thing. So I'm for sure going to be staying in standard tuning. There's not going to be a vote on that, unfortunately, for this songwriting session. But, so another thing I want to mention, every one of you has the power, veto power. So if you want to do, if there's ever a suggestion that I have that you want to dispute, you can do so by doing a super chat. So that's the rule here. So if I kind of see some comments and someone really wants their way, you can do a super chat or donate, and I will get a notification who's donating. So you guys will have ultimate power as far as what we decide to do, okay? Except for this first one. I'm going to start with standard tuning. So there's no say on that just yet. So I was in a kind of an E flat major 7 tuning there before this. In case you're wondering. The good thing about having multiple guitars is that you can really have different tunings for all of them. It's kind of, I'm a little spoiled that way because I have a lot of guitars here that I'm very lucky to play. Okay, so the way that I typically like to write, just so you guys can get an idea as far as how I start the whole writing process to begin with, I will almost always, unless there's a very clear melody in my head, I will almost always start with a simple chord progression, and that simple chord progression can even be a very simple picking pattern that you do with the right hand. So just to give you an example, something that I would do, I would just pick a random inversion, maybe of the A chord, but maybe play an extended version of it. So if you do have a guitar lying next to you, feel free to play along and experiment, so you can kind of see maybe what some of these voicings might sound like for you. So this is kind of my first start. Now from here, I start very slowly moving fingers in other frets. Now I've got my pinky finger here not doing anything. Okay, so this is my writing process. I just go from this and I move my pinky finger. And slowly I will move one finger at a time. This is kind of my rule here. And I keep doing this until I find sort of a feel or overall mood that works. Now I want you guys to tell me, are we going to do this in a major key or a minor key? So this will be your next voting session. So write in the comments right now, major feel, happy feel, or minor and sad. So you got 10 seconds here. In case you're not sure what major and minor sounds like, this is a minor chord, and here's a major chord. The uplifting major, minor. Okay, we're not talking about modes just yet. Okay, we got our very first super chat. Minor, please. So if anyone wants to dispute that in the next 5 seconds, it's going to be a minor, because we just got a super chat from Stefan. Thank you so much, Stefan. Otherwise, we're going to stick with minor in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are sticking with a minor feel. Okay. So this is good. This gives me enough to work with. And when you're writing, I think a very important start when you're doing this is that you can kind of limit things down. Us just doing this right now, us just saying right now that we are staking in a minor or starting in a minor key. We might not necessarily end up there, but we're going to start with the minor key. This limitation allows us to really have a little bit of kind of not so much flexibility, but guidance as far as where we want to go. So my idea right now is if we're going to stick in a minor key, instead of playing that A major chord that I played here, I'm going to play a sad version of this. So this is just a minor voicing. Again, we're going to experiment with different feels. Now let's talk about something very important as well, so you guys can give me more guidance. Are we doing something in 4/4 or in 6/8? This is very important because when we start to choose the rhythm, I can obviously just explore. I can explore this till wit's end and do different time signatures. Just so you guys can feel, 4/4 is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is our 4/4. Now I'm going to play 6/8 just so you can get a feel. looks like everybody is pretty intent on the 6/8 feel, which is awesome. And I can do a mix of this, but again, we're just starting out. Before we even do anything with the whole composing, like figuring out exactly what notes or what melody we're going to do, is we're going to start with just the key, more or less, which I kind of decided already, which is A, minor or major, and also the rhythm. So this already gives me enough to work with to kind of have all these possibilities of where we want to go with this, okay? Thank you guys so much for contributing, by the way. I know that there's a few of you watching that maybe aren't contributing. It's all good. If you don't feel like you need to give your input, it's all good. I totally understand. Or even if you're not a musician and you don't know what I'm doing, but that's all good too. Hopefully this can be maybe be a music lesson with kind of exploring these ideas. Okay, so we're gonna stick with 6/8. I think that's pretty clear from everyone's, almost everyone's kind of view here. So 6/8, so this is great. Minor key, 6/8. Now what the hell do I do? No, so this is so fun because it really forces me to maybe get out of my comfort zone a little bit and write on the spot. Okay, so we have a 6/8. Now we're in the key of A. So we're going to choose the next chord. Is the next chord going to be a major chord or another minor chord? Diablo vibe. It does have a Diablo vibe. So, ready? Guys, I want you to tell me if we're going to stick with the next chord to be a major or a minor chord. So everyone... So if you're not quite sure what the time signature I'm doing or how I'm able to figure this out, is I'm counting in my head. Basically, if I do 6-note pattern, this almost is the indicator that I am in 6/8. 6/8 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I repeat. This is kind of our giveaway. Now obviously from this, I can keep this pattern going the whole time. Okay, already there we've got a sort of a progression. But it looks like we are sticking with minor. It looks like most people... Are you guys just in a very sad mood today? Is that why you're wanting to go with minor? Okay, we got another super chat here from Theo. So that's going to be minor. Unless someone wants to dispute that, we're going to stick with minor. Thank you, Theo, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. So we've got minor to a minor. Okay, let's figure out. So we're going to stick with A minor. Now, when I'm thinking modally, when I'm thinking in the key of A minor, I've got two other options, really, if I want to stay in this key. In the key of A minor, we have 3 minor chords. We have the A minor, we have the D minor, and the E minor. I won't go into why I know this or why we are even discussing kind of these little details, but just so you guys know, we have D minor and E minor as well as kind of these chords that we could use in a progression. Right now we're just working on the progression. We'll figure out that melody a little bit later. Okay, so some of you are writing tabs or writing the numbers that you want me to play, which is this one, which is a very nice one, and I was actually thinking of that one too. Now, regarding this chord, going from the A minor, let's see, so that already sounds pretty good. So that already, this progression from a minor chord to the E minor, or an E, or it could even be like a B minor 7. Okay, so we've got a good start here. Let's pick one more chord that we can kind of mess around with, because I feel like 2 or 3 chords are a great place to start. So yeah, and this is an A minor 9 chord here. I'm not just playing a regular A minor. The reason I'm doing extended chords, they're more colorful. They're more colorful, like this beautiful painting behind me, right? So this is a very nice kind of, this can even be a C major 7 chord, to be honest. Now notice that a lot of you guys might be wondering what is going on with all this theory and talk. Every minor chord also has a relative kind of major chord, especially if it's a minor 7 chord. That minor 7 can also very quickly be converted to a major 7 voicing, right? Like I did here. Okay, so we got 2 chords. That's great. It's a good start. Good start. So we're 20 minutes in. We got 2 chords. So this that's good. So here we got. We got the A minor. Then we got the E. So okay, so this is your time. If you want to do a super chat, you can basically tell me whatever you want me to do. Yeah, so the super chats have that veto power. So if you want me to go into a whole different groove all of a sudden, you have that power to choose this, within my discretion, of course. So if you have any suggestions as far as where we can go with this, feel free to do those super chats at any time. That's the name of the game here. Okay, so I found something here that's pretty interesting. So I went from this chord, this E minor chord, to a B flat major 7 chord. Now, why does this work? Why does this work, and why does it actually sound good? Now, a lot of the times when I'm playing this stuff, I oftentimes move one finger down at a time. I think a lot of you maybe got that in the very beginning of this video. And if you are just tuning in, we're doing a writing session here, okay? So from here, from this chord right here, if I just move these 2 fingers down, which is the root note and the 5th interval, down 1 fret, okay, this almost is like an invitation for you to explore a different route, okay? This is kind of my go-to way as far as how I can just explore and get things out of my head as quick as possible. So I've got this. I'm gonna move those 2 fingers down and make this a major 7 chord, even with the open E. So notice that the one note that I'm using to connect these 2 chords together is the high E. Now listen for it here, because this little piece of tip can be the difference between connecting the chords melodically when we get to the melody. It can also be the difference between connecting the theme of the mood that we're going through. And okay, so watch what I do here. When I play this open E, I'm gonna let that open E ring out and play it again. So I've played the open E twice over these 2 chords. Okay, we're already creating this really kind of sad sound, because that's what you guys wanted, right? You guys wanted 2 minor chords here. So I'm gonna give that to you. So now we've got this. So far we have this sort of progression that we came up with here together. So we got already a very good start. Let's find a way to resolve this, okay? Now, how do we resolve something like this when we've just modulated? We've just modulated to all different keys. So it's like, what are we able to do at this point? I'm gonna keep following that same tip that I just gave you guys, which is moving everything down. The root note and the 5th are going to go down 1 more, okay? So notice what's happening. We were going from this chord here. Watch these 2 fingers, which is the root note and the 5th note. The root and the 5th, this is a perfect fit, so this is always going to sound good. This is always going to work. So what we're doing, if you just play this, it sounds like the beginning of a Metallica song, right? But when we're doing it with these sorts of extra added notes, by adding this sort of the 3rd, especially with the high open E, I'm going to do the same thing again. Now watch what happens. I'm going to leave the pinky finger here. Wow, okay, so you see what just happened. We went from that B major 7 feel down with the index and the ring finger again, but leave the pinky finger there. And now watch what's going to happen. I'm going to move the pinky finger down 1 more fret, and now we're going to get an A7 chord. This is almost like a resolution. You see how we've just resolved this chord progression? Let me play it from the beginning, really slowly, so we can kind of just recap what we just did, okay? So we've got this so far. So. Okay, so we have the progression. We have those 4 chords right now. So this is my process. This is almost, except for I don't oftentimes have people telling me what to do or giving me direction as far as what would work and what wouldn't work. Okay? So again, I'm just going to keep exploring this. Let's keep going, okay? And now the next step for me would be, I'm not even thinking about bass line just yet. I'm thinking just right hand picking pattern, like whatever feels comfortable. So if you're at home trying this for yourself, you can even just do block chords. You can go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do stuff like this. Perfectly fine. Do this if this is easier for you. Now you see what this chord is. This was the first chord that I played for you guys before even deciding what we're going to do in minor or major. So I kind of modulated, well I didn't really modulate, I went from the A7 chord to this shape right here. Okay, so what this is kind of like a 11 chord. So that's kind of what we did. We're kind of just looping this. Now this is what I do. I also play this over and over again until my hands are on autopilot. So I can very clearly now in my head think melodically, what are we going to do? Now let's talk about this step. Let's talk about melody. So we've got the 4-chord progression. Now I can almost assure you we could go with this 4-chord progression and write a whole song around just these 4 chords. We can do a good 2-3 minute session. Now the way that I would want to do this personally, I know that in my head I'd probably want to start with an intro. The intro being space within this progression, right? Because we're introducing the story. Okay, that could be a very nice intro versus just playing right away going into finger picking. So if you are a writer out there as well, watching right now, there's such an effective thing to leave space and build the song. Build the song like a slope, like a 45-degree angle. Build it like you're telling a story, right? The story, unless the story involves right away someone getting shot, you know, in the movie, obviously you'd want to start with, you know, something that amplifies that attitude. But we're not really working on that right now. We're working more on just this melody. Try D minor. Okay, thank you. Lifelong Fan 07 for that super chat. So you want to say try D minor. Okay. Lifelong Fan 07, where do you want me to do the D minor? Do you want me to go at the very end of everything D minor? You let me know. You're my guidance, my guiding force here right now. After the end. Okay, so from the A7, very nice, very nice. I like that. I like that. This almost can be our gateway, our transition point into the next section. Now let me ask you though, are you familiar with theory to know that the D minor would have worked there really well? Or what gave you the idea that the D minor was a very nice place to go to? I'm very curious to hear your answer. Bar version, okay. Is it this one you want to go to? Okay, sure. Okay, so let's try that again. So very nice, very nice. So that D minor works absolutely ace. Great. Yeah, it just sounds like it would fit. Good. So obviously that answer, saying that it just sounds like it would fit, would mean that you have a very clear indication of what the D minor chord will sound like. Now this is one of the keys of writing music, is like, are you able to hear it in your head before you playing it? This is what separates maybe people who are more developed musically versus people who aren't. And then I still have a long way to go. I'm not able to hear everything very clearly in my head. For me, it's more of a trial and error process. I'm more process driven versus outcome driven, right? I'm never thinking this D minor should be the one to go to because, well, it's the right one, or harmonically speaking, this is the one to go to. I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking what feels right, what sounds right. So we've got this so far. Okay, I like that D minor. That's very nice. So let's keep going, because now that we've kind of gone to this next progression, it's only fitting that we kind of are in a different key. The way that I'm thinking, well, we're in a different mode, really. But I'm thinking more in my head, what are we going to do with this D minor? What's the next step? Now again, I talked earlier about kind of the theory about what key that we're in. We're more or less in the key of A minor, starting with A minor anyway. the D minor, right, relative to the A minor would be, for any of you, you know, theory heads, if you guys are able to kind of know that, the way that I do this, I know it's the Dorian mode, right? Because I'm in the key of A minor, the D is kind of the Dorian mode. So again, when I'm thinking in my head Dorian, I'm very clearly thinking the scale notes of the Dorian mode. I can also play it up here. Okay, this is very important because this step will help me later when I'm writing the melody. Okay, when we're using the melody. Okay, so it's time to vote right now on what the next chord is going to be. I'm going to give you 2 options or 3 options. Again, if you want to do the super chat, you have the power to do that, and you will have veto power over everyone as far as where you want the song to go right now, if it's in the means of this sort of mode. Okay, we got a few options. I'm going to give you 2 options here. From D minor, we're going to go into the F chord, or from D minor, whoa, we went to a D flat major 7. Okay, so go ahead and cast your vote right now. You want the F major chord or the D flat major 7? D flat major 7. Or super chat, and I'll do almost everything you guys want. Okay, just a few more seconds to vote. Okay, so it seems like a lot of you guys want the F and the D flat. Well, let me count here. This is a bit tricky. I wish there was a way to do polls on this, so that way I could very quickly tell what you guys want. So I'm going to count all the Fs and all the D flats here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think D flat is the, okay, we got Mike Burns. I think that's Mike Burns. But he wants a D flat major 7, and that's what I'm going to give him because he has that ultimate power. Thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate that. So now we've got this. We've got D minor to the, well, we are going in the territory of very dark emotions here. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, now I'm gonna just try to think in my head as far as what I could do to keep making it, exploring it. Okay, this is, if you guys have any images of kind of what you're seeing when I play this, it might help me to very kind of more quickly being able to tell what I'm trying to say with this. So if you have any imagery in your head as I play this, let me know. I'd love to kind of hear what you're thinking as far as what you're seeing. Now let me think theoretically. Stuck in a web. That does sound like it's stuck in the web. Westworld, yeah, I've been watching that show actually, so that actually, I could see that. Some kind of mysterious forest, I can totally see that too. That's great. I love this. This is great. Yeah, Mist. Diablo, it does sound like Diablo's Tristan. Yeah, it does, totally. That brings me back to when I was like 13 years old, staying up all night, trying to kill all the demons and the devil and Diablo. Okay, so thank you for all the images. It really kind of helps me to kind of pick and choose what you guys are feeling when I'm playing this, because this is part of it, right? Part of this is like, it's not just playing musically, like what sounds good, but you see, we're doing an exercise right now, basically, and I'm asking you guys to just being able to visualize what you see when I'm playing, because at the end, the listener is also going to visualize things, right, as he's playing. I apologize if the volume is too low. I would suggest maybe turning the volume up as high as you can on your device. The thing is, I'm a very light picker, so right at this point anyway, because we haven't really explored melody yet. We've kind of dived into these progressions. Now let me just go over one extra point here, which is the power of dynamics. I can't express this so much. I have a lot of students over Skype, and it's always so fun to go over dynamics, because a lot of us typically when we're picking, we pick in one volume. It's very common to have kind of a static line volume-wise that we're able to do that like this. So for example, if I were to play this 2 times and I'll play the exact same volume, okay, this versus the first time I'm going to play normal volume, the second time I'm going to bring it down to like 20%. And watch what happens to the overall feel and the mood of the song. So, okay, power of dynamics. Use that in your songs. If you are a writer here, use it. It's just going to amplify and hit home this idea of what you're trying to say with more expression, right? It's like when you're not choosing to play dynamics, you're losing out on adding color to the overall picture. So make sure that you do that to give it that extra voicing of like of an emotion feel, right? Okay, now again, I'm thinking right now about the next steps, because I want to stick with a 4-chord progression. Now, if you are just joining us, we are doing this writing session here where you guys guide me. So the first chord that we decided on was this right here. So that's pretty cool. I think this is a success so far, as far as where we've come. We're going to pick 2 more chords though, 2 more chords. If you have any suggestions right now, this is the time to let me know. If you are familiar with some of the chord theory, please take some time to think about what maybe could work, or if you have your guitar in front of you and are playing with me, feel free to kind of experiment, right? I'm just going to experiment right now until you guys give me some more variations here. Okay, we got Tio again with the major next. So he wants to go to another major chord. Okay, so we'll do that. We're going to go from D minor, unless someone wants to up that ante there. So Tio, do you have any suggestions as far as what chord? What kind of major chord? Are you looking for a major 7, major 6 chord, major 9, altered? You let me know. Major E, okay. Cool, okay, so let me explore. I'm going to explore this to go into another major. Okay, so this seems to work really well, and let me explain why I might actually want to just choose the C major or C dominant 7th chord, okay? Here's why this works. You know that first thing that we did in the very first progression, which was this? We went to kind of the A minor chord, we went to this E, 7 or some minor 7 chord or something like that, to the major, B flat major 7, to... Remember how we talked about this? We talked about the root note descending chromatically down, right? If we do that same thing here, this could actually work. And here's why this could be a very effective thing. If we use the same idea that we used for the same progression and apply it in a different key, it creates familiarity. It creates some sort of cohesion between these two parts. And here's the thing, it still sounds different enough, right? So let me explain that for you here. If I play it from the beginning, just all the way through. You see, I just resolved it to the C. Okay, so this is very important because, you know, it depends on what you're trying to say at the end of the day. Obviously, we are creating a story right now. We don't have a very clear story in our head. We're working together to create the story, to paint those brush strokes in that painting, right? So all of a sudden, logically, it does make sense to go to the C dominant or C kind of suspended chord to the dominant chord. Okay, this works really well. Okay, now what do you guys say? Should we work on a melody right now or keep exploring picking patterns? Because we could do one or the other. So you guys let me know. Are we doing a melody, or are we doing chord progression, or are we doing rhythm? Are we doing a different sort of rhythm structured in 6/8? So you got three options. You got melody, you got picking, or different rhythm. You guys have 10 seconds to input your consensus here. Okay, so I think a lot of people are thinking melody here, which is great. So I think we're going to work with the melody again, unless you have the veto power. So if you want to do a super chat to dispute the melody, now is your chance. Otherwise, we're going to stick with the melody next. I'm going to play it one more time from the beginning so we can decide really on what we want to do. Okay, so here we go from the beginning. Quite nice. I think what we have so far and what we've kind of discovered is we're modulating quite a bit. But this is part of it. It's like we're not really focusing on staying in one key right now. Well, we did at first, as you can remember, but we've kind of explored it to the point now that we're just going with it, okay? So one of the things that I see so much, a lot of people, is like they will stick in the same key. They will stay in the same key the entire time. And here's why that could be a very problematic thing, is because everything starts to sound the same. You notice that there's a lot of movement in what we're doing so far. Already what we've done is we've created this sort of moving part that it makes you want to listen, right? It makes you want to keep listening and stay tuned to what's going on. So that's very nice. So I think we got another super chat here from Lifelong Fans 07. So rhythm for $1.99. So if anyone wants to dispute that, now is your time. Otherwise, we're going to stick with rhythm, not melody. So this is the name of the game here. So you got another 10 seconds or so. Well, I try to think of some rhythms that we can work with. Okay, Lifelong Fan, do you have any suggestions on rhythm? Are we staying in a 6/8, or are we going to switch to a 4/4? Do you want to hear some maybe thumb slap? Do you want to hear some sort of kind of rhythm strumming? Here's what we can do. I can give you some. I'm going to play a few variations so we can see, but it's up to this guy, Lifelong Fan, to decide. That's one rhythm section, kind of more or less. Another rhythm would be like. Okay, that's version number 2. I'm going to give you one more before you decide. I know you're listening because you paid for this. So here's another option that I'm going to do. I'm just improvising here, guys, so pardon any mistakes that there are here. Okay, that's version number 3. Okay, so you wanted to hear, I like them both, please play the first again. So the first one, here's the thing, I am notoriously bad for remembering stuff. So the second one I did was, yeah, so then the first one, I don't remember what the first one was. Was it this one? Or was that the third one? No one remembers. So yeah, so let me know, lifelong. That's the third. Yeah, I think that's the third. Yeah. So what was the don't remember. You see, here's one of the problems with writing is like if you're not recording it, or because I'm not able to go back in time right now to revisit that, so I can't really determine which one sounds the best. But usually I have a phone to record everything with. I'm recording everything in the process. This way, I'm very clearly being able to kind of look back and see. The first one was slower. Okay, so I think the first one might have been like. Was that the first one? That was like the original, or close to the original one that we did, I think. So you let me know. You got 5 seconds to decide, because we need to kind of see what we can do with this song here. So it's up to Lifelong Fan 07 to decide. Let's hear number 2. Okay, number 2 was this. So by the way, if you're joining us, we are doing a writing session right now. I know I have to keep saying this because people keep joining. We're doing a writing session right now where you guys dictate on where it goes. But if everyone kind of decides on something and someone does a super chat or does a donation to the link below, you will get priority as far as where the direction of the song will go. Okay, so I'm going to play number 2 again, version number 2. Okay, so that's another 6/8 sort of feel. So you let me know, Lifelong Fan, you are the determining factor, unless someone does a super chat to fight that, to dispute that. Otherwise, we're going to have to pick whatever he picks. So you decide. So you've got those options. Let me play the third one. Okay, cool. So you picked number 2. Okay, so it's final. So we're going to go with this kind of groovier feel. Okay, cool. So we've decided a lot of things so far. We've gone over the chord progression. We've gone over the 6/8, the feel, the time signature. We've gone over the rhythm part now, and as far as maybe some of the picking influence as well. As far as you guys helping me with the visual scene of what we are seeing when we play this. Now notice that the very first thing that we did with the picking pattern at first sounds way different than what we're doing now, right? It's got a completely different feel. Now the question is, how are we going to piece those two things together? Now, as I said earlier, I typically like to start with an intro. An intro could be as simple as playing the very first half of this progression with more space in between the notes, like this. Okay, so we've got it. We've got this. This should be roughly around 30 to 45 seconds long right now. And this is great. This is a really good start. What we have so far is enough to work with for the entire song, most likely. Okay, so we are just about 50 minutes in. We've kind of gotten this much out of it. It usually takes me years to write music because I'm very kind of picky and nitpicky about certain parts and stuff. So let me know what you guys think so far. Are you guys enjoying yourself? Are you liking this sort of thing? Do you kind of prefer this way of writing with me? That you guys have some influence as far as kind of where the direction of the song is going? I'd love to kind of know if you are enjoying this, if you are watching anyway. Cool. Nice. Cool. Yeah, cool. Now I will say one thing here before we move on is that I have caved in and I've started something that I was very on the fence about for a very long period of time. I have not started playing bass. Don't worry, I'm still a guitar player. Just kidding, for any bass players out there. So I've started a Patreon page, and I'm actually going to be doing a lot more of these sorts of things at the Patreon page. The link is below. So I don't have any followers, any patrons yet because I just started, but I'm going to make a very special deal that if you do sign up to any of the tiers that are $5 and above, I'm going to give you 2 free tabs to start. This is only good for the end of today. So if you guys like what you're hearing and you want to see more of this writing session, I'm going to do a lot more of these at the Patreon page in the link below. And I'm going to give you a little bonus of 2 free tabs of any songs that you want. Okay? So this is just a little bit of a thank you for anyone who actually showed up today and had a little bit of fun here while we're doing this. Okay, just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. Okay, so we've got everything so far as all the structure is there. Let's work on the melody now. Okay, there's no veto power here just yet, but we're going to work on melody so far as what we've got. Okay, so how do I write a melody? How does a melody even come about? Even in what we're doing rhythmically with that last sort of variation that we did, notice what we kind of explored a lot of different ideas with the right hand. With this is the magic hand. What you do with the left hand is obviously very important as well. But once you understand the left hand and what is going on here, the right hand has a lot of power over how quickly you're able to get stuff out in different rhythmic patterns, right? Unless you're doing like all hammer-ons and pull-offs, that kind of stuff, that obviously makes a difference. But in this case, the right hand plays such a big role. Okay, so building enough endurance, dexterity, agility with the right hand really plays a big role. Yeah, Yeah, so you know, good observation. I did get my acrylic gel and powder, so I was able to do it myself. The very first time I did it a couple days ago, so I put the gel on. I'm going to be making a video about this for any guitar players out there. If you are getting into acrylic gel nails, I'm going to guide you step by step as to how I did it to make them look so to make them look so. I don't want to say beautiful because they're not beautiful. They're a tool. They're a tool for me to express myself, not a tool to look cool. But yeah, so as you can see, I do have nails. That's how I'm able to get a little bit more clarity of the tone, right? Yeah, so they are natural looking, but if you look, they're pretty thick. They are pretty thick. Again, I'm going to make a video about this at a later time, but I want to focus on really on the writing process here with you guys today. Okay, so this is my process for writing a melody. I'm going to keep exploring the first chord only. I'm just going to go this. Okay? This already is set in stone, okay? So as you can see, I've got a very clear rhythm. I'm going to explore different fingering now with the left hand. Okay, already there we've got a beginning of a melody. Okay, notice what I did there. It's such a simple melody. But this is what I love to do. The more complex the picking pattern is with the right hand or the bass lines, the simpler the melody should be, in my opinion, because you're going to have variation. You're going to have complexity in the background, but the foreground is going to be very clear. Okay? This is not, of course, the correct or the wrong way to write. This is how I prefer to write, or how I typically will approach this, like this. So the melody is this. You see how simple that melody is? And us just doing it with this rhythm already creates music. If you are just joining me, yes, we are writing a melody right now at this specific time, okay? So now I've got a very simple melody. I can even just go ascending and then descend. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you see, we've just discovered something. Not by accident, because what we're doing is we're being intentional with the other finger. Look at this. When I'm playing this chord here, my ring finger isn't doing anything, and because it's not doing anything, I'm going to purposely assign it to do something. Okay? Now, obviously, there are limitations with what I can do with this finger. I can obviously go here to this C note. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Let's try this. Okay, this could be part of the bass line when we get to that point. If we have enough time, we're going to work on the bass line a little bit too. But right now, we've just got the rhythm. Notice right there, we've got that ring finger there on the high E string as well, which we can get something very nice. Okay, this is the first chord. Now let's go to the next chord, because we need to piece this together somehow to connect it to the second chord. Okay? So C has to go to the F? Not necessarily. I mean, you could definitely do that. But notice that as soon as I go to the F, we get a very, very dark sound, which can be good. It can be something that we're going for. Now, if you are, again, thinking about certain notes, I'm thinking scale notes. Right, so in case you're wondering, how do I know what notes will work versus some notes that won't? This requires a little bit of theory just to understand the scale. So I'm basically playing an A minor, an A Aeolian scale. That's why this works, okay? Because we're going to keep A minor here for this one. Let's piece this. I'm going to try something here. I've never done this, but I'm going to go play this. Then I'm going to go to the E chord. So I'm going to play. This is the melody now. open E. Okay, when I play the open E, I'm going to switch to the second chord. I know this is going to work 100% because this chord right here, okay, this is an E. When we're looking at this chord, we're looking at an E minor chord, okay? So now we have this. Let me just show you what we have. Okay, what I might want to do here, I might just want to have one note ringing for the entire time, but I might do a different rhythmic pattern. Okay, this is variation. Okay, we don't want to do the exact same melody rhythmically for the second bar because this is going to create some sort of, this is two pattern-esque. We want to kind of create a variation. If we're going to do the same pattern as the first, we're going to do that for the third chord. And I'll explain why when we get there. Okay, so now we have this. You see, we kind of had a lot more space to let that open note ring out. Now here's another thing you can do. Because it's a high E string, I could just do this. I could just do the 12th fret harmonic for that. So if I'm playing this, I'll have to do a little bit cleaner, but okay, so that could be a very effective tool. I'm going to look for other harmonic notes, maybe. Let's see. So we got. So I think the 12th fret might be the one that works. So we've got something different here. Right now I did a roll. I played thumb, index, middle, ring on the 12th fret on string 6, 4, 6, 3, 2, and 1. And when I did that, letting these notes ring out is your cue. This is the key when you can very quickly go into a different rhythm while these notes are ringing out. This is one of the steps to creating the illusion of having two guitars. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, that already can be a very cool start. Okay, let's go to the third chord. Okay, now as I said earlier, we're going to use that first melody. Okay, that sort of melody, but we're gonna start here with the third chord, and what this is going to sound like, it's going to sound like this. Okay, so now we have this. We've got a sharp 5 here, an altered chord. Okay, so what I did there, just so you can see the melody, I'm going to play the melody alone first. That's first chord and the second chord. Third chord and the fourth chord. Okay, all that I'm doing is I'm playing a sequence. Okay, if you guys don't know what a sequence is in music, it's basically when we take a pattern of notes, whether it's descending or ascending, and using that same sort of pattern, say we're going up 3 notes, we're going to do that same thing with the second note. Taking those same notes and moving it up one interval, one interval, one interval. Okay, this is called a musical sequence. I use this all the time. This is like, when you listen to my music, I am using sequences up and down. Now let me explain what you can do at home to practice this, because this is going to blow your mind. I really believe it's completely changed the way I approach melodically. Okay, I want to play a scale for you here. I'm going to play a C major scale. Okay, sounds pretty good, right? We've got all the notes in there, nothing really interesting, but let's try to play this now, maybe swinging the notes. Okay, this is the next step that I would do. Okay, it's like you're back in 2nd grade and when your music teacher is telling you to play all these scales. Play your scales, play your scales. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the same sequence, the 3-note sequence. Okay, I'm going to play... Okay, that's playing it normal with triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to play it swinging now. way more musical. All right, we've just gone from playing boring, which can be, this has its application. I'm not going to say it's boring, but for the sake of comparing it, swinging the notes already makes it more musical. Okay, so now we have way more musical. Now, if you're able to do this sort of technique of playing sequences like I just did here in this song here, okay, you see how simple that was? Well, maybe it wasn't simple, but we've started with the chord progression, okay? Then we started on the melody that's so simple and memorable, okay? When you're writing melodies, can you sing it? Can you hum it in your head? Okay, we don't oftentimes want to play whatever sort of complicated stuff. You could do that. You could definitely do that. There's no wrong way to do that. But when I'm thinking about a song like this, which is a very dark song, ominous, mysterious, Tristan from Diablo, however you want to describe it, that one note is haunting. We have haunting notes. Haunting. We want to leave the listener haunted, okay? Okay, so this is really the power, one of the powers anyway, that I see that is so important. So important, okay? Okay, so let's apply this. Let's see what we got from the beginning to the end. Well, what we have so far. I'm going to play what we have so far. And you guys let me know what you want to do next, okay? While I play this for you. Kind of nice what we did there, which is very cool. So we're exploring all possibilities here. A big thank you to Bike Mearns, who just became my very first patron on Patreon.com. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a bonus of 2 extra tabs. So you're going to get 4 free tabs. I didn't say that because I just wanted to see who would be the first patron to sign up. So thank you. You're going to get 4 free tabs on the house. Thank you so much for starting this out. Cheers. Yeah, if you've got a beer, drink up, because it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to provide you with a lot of information, a lot of videos. Can't wait for that. So if you are joining me, I do have that Patreon page where I'll be doing a lot more of these sort of live writing sessions with you guys. Okay, so we're kind of starting to get really interested. Yeah, someone's asking about royalty checks. Yeah. You know what? Well, I do have a tier at Patreon, actually, that I will credit you at the very end of all the videos that I do. So if this song becomes a real video, I will stick your name at the very end for the credits, for sure. But if you want my 15 cents of royalties, I'm more than happy to give that to you as well. Okay, so so here's what I do. I kind of typically like to just play what I'm exploring a few times until I get comfortable. Okay, so I'm kind of just exploring the second melody. I'm exploring the second part of the melody. Now, notice what I did there. To connect the A chord here to the E minor 7, to the B flat major 7, to the A, that's called the section A, okay? Theme A. theme B is when we go to the D minor. When I went to the D minor, notice something very important, that I did a pickup note. Okay, a pickup note, if you're not quite sure what that is, for anyone listening here, it's notes that we play before the actual song starts, or the rhythm starts, or the chord progression starts. Let me give you the example of what a pickup note is in this instance. So if I'm playing that chord here, melody, 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 chord. Okay, it's like, notice that the song starts when I play the rhythm section, not when I play that part is the pickup note. And why is this so effective? You'll hear this happening everywhere. All sorts of music uses this because it's kind of like the transition point, the introduction of what the next part is going to be. It's like the pickup note is a way for you to take my hand and basically saying, trust me, we're going to go on an adventure. I'm going to take your hand and I'm going to guide you with me. Okay, that's the pickup notes. It can be like a passing melody as well, yeah. But this melody, these pickup notes are essential to connect the melody, right? So it doesn't have. This just came to me the first thing. It doesn't mean that we have to stick with this. This is just an ascending line, right? I can also go backwards. Let me go backwards just to see to do a descending line. Okay, that's. Let me just show you what that would sound like. I'm going to give you two variations of an ascending pickup line and a descending pickup line. Okay, that was the ascending. Now you see it went, that's descending, and then, but notice that I still land on the same note. It's the same note. You've heard this in all songs. This happens everywhere. You know that song, Pirates of the Caribbean? Something like that. That's the pickup note. Notice that. It's pick up, pick up, pick up, then it starts. Okay, it's a very effective tool that I use all the time. You'll hear it all throughout my music as well. Okay, so maybe we can vote on this. We haven't voted on anything in a while. So you guys want the ascending pickup notes or the descending one? Let me know right now. You got 10 seconds to decide. Ascending, descending. Okay, I'm gonna give the credit to Bike Mearns because he's my first patron, so I'm gonna have to give it to him. So descending it is, descending. So we're gonna go. Sounds similar to Bella Ciao. I'm not quite sure it sounds. I mean. Okay, so we got the, anyway, so we've got the, okay, here's what we're going to do, is we're going to try, just as an experiment, the exact same formula for the melody in the first chord with the second chord progression. Now remember, the second chord progression is what we call theme B. It's very important to have names for these. Right? Why is it important to have names for these theme A, theme B? It's because when we're communicating, we can very quickly say theme B. I don't have to kind of go over the chord progression again when we're thinking theme B. Okay? So if you are just joining us, we've kind of gone over all the steps as far as how to get to this point. So if you are joining us and you don't know what how we came up with the chord progression, I'd encourage you to kind of go back to the beginning if you can, because we did talk about that in the very beginning as far as what we did, how we decided what chords would work, why they wouldn't work, or why they would work rather, and so forth. Okay, so now we've got this. Now again, the test is I'm going to try that same melody intervallically on this chord. Now remember, if we're playing A minor, look at this note. This note is the most important note because it's the leading note of the melody. So we have okay? I'm going to apply this chord. Look at this chord. If I take my index finger here and I make this a bar chord, an imaginary bar chord, that where that nut is, we'd have the index finger. I'm going to move this up to the 5th fret, okay? Notice what the most important note now is. If I'm going to basically take what I have here and apply it to this position. Okay, so notice that I'm going to start with this note here. Does that make sense to you guys as far as why I started with this note in this chord progression? Because it's the exact same shape. It's the exact same shape as the A minor chord that we played in the beginning. We're going to try it on the D minor. Okay, so let's try this. So we're going to play from the... We have this chord, this note next, right? And this note here is a G note. Okay, so we're going to try this. Let's see. Then after this, we decided, because we're just, remember the melody is just 1st fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. Notice the interval change. We have one fret between these notes. Okay, 1st note, 2nd note, 3rd note. That's the melody. The 2nd theme, or theme B, is going to be starting on the 6th fret of the B string. Okay, so we have here that F, G. Now I need to switch to the next chord. Now remember that next chord, or the next note, in this case would be the A, okay? But remember that chord that we played? It's not, I'm not sure that's going to fit. I mean, it can, we could definitely try it. This with the... It actually can work, it's just, it's an altered chord. Here's what that would sound like. Pretty dark. We've kind of gone in this really dark direction here. But it does work when we resolve it. You see what we just did there? We kind of moved that. So in a way, what we just did can work. We applied that same melody to the theme B. Now, if we really look at this, all that we're doing is we're doing a scale. We're going ascending, if we think about it. But notice what the rhythm has done to this. This rhythm structure that we have created with the right hand of 6/8 gives it a whole different feel. It almost can make a scale sound really musical, like this. We've got it. We've got that main structure. And the melody is hummable. You can... Well, then we've got the pickup note. So we've got this. Notice that pickup note all of a sudden makes a scale like this sound way more musical. Let me explain it one more time here. Pickup notes. If I keep doing this sort of thing with like, you can keep going, and you can eventually resolve it to the A here. Another inversion of the A, okay? Let me try it again from the beginning if I can remember everything. Good thing I'm recording this so I can go back to this and relearn it if I have to. So we have this so far. So we've created a song together. We've created it from the beginning to up to this point. This is a great start. This is a really great start because now we have so much to work with. We've got two themes, two very kind of rhythmically they're the same, right? But melodically they're different, modally they're different, and we're creating enough variation within this to make it more interesting. Someone's suggesting a title right now for a title of this, Quarantining Out of Solitude. That's great. That's actually it's a very nice name actually. Quarantine work. Yeah, quarantine work. Quarantine work. That's good. That's great. I think I'll name this. I think I'm going to name these sessions Quarantine Work. Thank you, La 99 STL. I'm sure there's deeper meaning to that name. But yeah, Quarantine Work. That's genius. There's nothing I can say. It's pure genius. I'm sorry. I will not be deleting this. This is up for here. We're good. So here's one. I think we've done enough. I think we've just done a good hour and 20 minutes or so of this. So thank you guys for like sticking around here and contributing here. And thank you to everyone who's done a super chat. And thank you to anyone who's done a Patreon subscription, which is in the link below. So if you enjoy this, I'll be doing a lot more of those specifically there once I get more of a following. So if you want to support me, that's the best way to do it, through the Patreon page. I really appreciate that. If you don't want to do that, you can. There's also a link to another donation site that I have, a GoFundMe page, where a portion of that will actually go to a animal rescue center in Zihuatanejo, Mexico, where I got one of my dogs. So whatever the case might be, I want to play one more song. I want to play one last song since I've still got you guys here with me, and I want to maybe give some requests. And by the way, this song is not done yet. So, so for those of you tuning in, I will be doing a second part of this. And when we do the second part, it'd be great to have all of you guys join me, because we're going to keep working on this. We're going to work on the next section, okay? So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I am doing it on Facebook as well, but I typically, YouTube is my focus as far as the comments go and stuff like that. Okay, so give me some suggestions as far as songs that you want to hear. I'm going to play one last song before I sign off and take a little break here. So this is your chance to give me some ideas. That's all I remember from that morning in Adanac. Toward Dusk requires 2 guitars. I don't have two guitarists here. Play some from Slayer. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's about as Slayer as I can get. I did start with metal music, so which is really cool, but I'm so far removed from that world. So let's see here. If you are joining me just now, you can go back to the beginning of the video where we talked about all sorts of things. I think this will be very beneficial for anyone who's into writing music. We talked a lot about a whole bunch of things together. So, okay, so we got Running Fox Trail. You guys want to hear Running Fox Trail? What are some other ones? There's Cora, which is a very difficult piece that I don't think I'm going to attempt right now. Southern Magnolia, Most Glorious Day. So let's pick between those two. We got Southern Magnolia, Most Glorious Day, or Running Fox Trail. This is your time to cast a vote. Obviously, you will have veto power if you do a super chat. So you got a few seconds here to decide Southern Magnolia, Running Fox Trail, or Most Glorious Day. Okay, so it seems like a lot of you want Running Fox Trail, so I'm going to give that to you guys. Running Fox Trail to end here. That's funny, because in the very beginning of when I started playing this guitar, I was in that tuning. So thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, cool. It's pretty cool that you're teaching it. I'm still trying to learn it. Yeah, so if you have any specific questions on any of the fingering stuff, one of the Patreon tiers on patreon.com that I have is that you send me a video of you playing and I give video feedback. So that's one of the tiers at there. So if you have any specific questions that are very unique to you as an individual, they are in the Patreon page that I would encourage you to check out if you'd like to find out more. All right. Whoa. Out of tune. So I'm going to finish off here with Running Fox Trail. Please do join the Patreon page. I just started today. Today is officially the first day that I decided to just do it, take the plunge and do it. So I really appreciate any one of you guys doing it. And just to extend the invitation that you will get 2 free tabs if you do sign up within the next hour. That's kind of my special deal for you guys if you are planning on joining in the next little bit. I wish I could say I had a great teacher to teach me, but my great teacher was life. So I am an autodidact. I believe that teaching yourself, if you have the time and energy to teach yourself, that you're going to discover a lot more things than if someone just taught you exactly what to do. Even with a lot of my students, I always encourage them to explore for themselves. I'm only the person who's going to help you in the direction, but you have to decide to go in that route, in that direction. Yeah, so if you are just joining the Patreon page, someone asked how do I get the tabs, I will message you because I will know who just signed up in the last hour, because most of the people who know about Patreon, actually anyone who knows about it now, is only because of this video, this live stream. So I will give you 2 free tabs because I will see when you've joined. So some of you want to hear the story about this song. When I play this song live, Running Fox Trail, I tend to tell a big story, but I'm not going to go into crazy detail. But yeah, so gather around, kids. We're going to have a little story time about this song. Running Fox Trail, it's a very deep song for me. It's a very important song for me personally because it's about a man who taught me some really wise words. And this man is from Texas. I used to live in Texas for 7.5 years. And when I was there, I remember being in the backyard with one of my best friends there. And after school, we'd always look at the clock and make sure that his parents were never home. So one by one, we would take sharp things like knives, arrows and swords that he had for some reason, axes. So we would take all these sharp things and go into the backyard and one by one start throwing them at trees just to practice. And so what we did is we practiced kind of the art of, or the mechanics of the physically trying to throw stuff and make it stick to a tree. This is a good skill to have when the apocalypse comes, we thought, right? This is, we're 12 years old, so we don't know any better. So we take all these sharp things and we throw them at the tree, and one by one we start throwing them and we keep missing it. Well, I keep missing it anyway. And then my friend looks at me and he says, "Hey, Maneli, why don't you pick up that axe and try throwing that? See where you can do with that." So foolishly, I decided to do that. And just as I pick up the axe, just as I'm about to throw the axe, which is the size of me and the weight of a 12-year-old me, in my peripheral vision, I see Mr. Garrison. I see my friend's dad. And he was a very intimidating man for me growing up because he had a very strong presence around him. And whenever he was there, you just couldn't do anything but listen to him. But anyway, just as I'm about to see him, I have a very decisive choice. I let go of the axe and throw it and probably break something, or quickly pretend to do his garden work with the axe. Foolishly, I decided to go with the garden work and ruin his whole entire garden with the axe. But, it was so funny because at that point, he just didn't say a single word, and I was so scared. I was like, when someone is just so silent? They don't say a single word, and all of a sudden it's really scary. So he walked up to me in slow motion, because he's a Texan, man, and it's like those old Clintwood movies when everything's in slow motion, when there's about to be a gunfight. So he ends up walking to me in slow motion. He takes the axe out of my hand. He looks at me, he looks at my friend, and he throws it right at the tree. It's like bullseye. It's exactly where I was going to throw it, the bullseye, before he rudely interrupted me. So, man, this was my time to say something to him, to be a man. I was 12 years old. I felt like I had just the amount of time and energy in this world to give him my words of wisdom, to show him that I know what I'm doing. So I told him, practice makes perfect, sir. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. And he says, what the hell did you just say, boy? Practice does not make perfect. God damn it. Perfect practice makes perfect. Wow. Those were such strong words for me, because when I went home to play video games, I made sure I did it perfectly without distraction. Other than the video games, I went to the guitar. And when I went to the guitar with the idea of practicing perfectly, meaning that you have no distractions, turn everything off, focus everything on your craft, 100,000% on your craft. That's why he was able to throw it at the tree so well. Probably he's practiced it, but his attention was so intent on doing it. This was the lesson that I learned. I learned that when I play something, you don't just play something fast right away, even though you want it to be fast. You start slow. You start with patience. Take your time. Build it up. Work on it. Through this way, you're going to learn so many things. You're going to learn how to have patience. You're going to learn how to have discipline. This is what I learned, and this is something that I'm so thankful, so thankful that he said those words at that time. But I didn't realize the impact of those words till later on. And now when I play Running Fox Trail, which is dedicated to him, it's dedicated to him because Running Fox Trail is the name of the street where I would practice throwing those axes. And this is a very special song for me. It's dedicated to this wise man who taught me many great lessons. Not just me, but all my friends. He was a very influential person in everyone's life that he touched. He's no longer with us here today, unfortunately, but and this was the song that was born from me hearing about his passing. It's called Running Fox Trail. Ah, that's Running Fox Trail. And to be honest, whenever I tell the story about the song and then I play it, it always helps me to go deeper into the song and almost relive the experience. And a lot of people always ask, why I tell these stories, and a big part of that is that it's a way to invite you into what the song is about, why I wrote it, and hopefully bring you there as well, to invite you, for you to trust me to take you on this journey with me. So thank you guys so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of my guitar's heart, for tuning in here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed this today. It's been a joy to go work with you guys on this music and to come up with some new ideas. So I think probably next weekend, same time, is going to be part 2 of this song. So if you guys like this, hit a like down there. Feel free to follow the Patreon page. If you want to support me in any other way, there's a donation link down there below. You guys know what to do. Thank you so much for the inspiration here, the joy, and the great feedback from everything. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed this and got some value out of it. And that for me is the most important thing right now, is that you guys, I know it's crazy right now in the world, so I want to give you guys some love. I want to send you some positive energy, hopefully to bring this into your life a little bit, and we'll continue from there. So thank you so much once again. I really appreciate that. Until next time, peace.